Hey everybody, so carrying on with the whole spring thing, I'm going to tie one of the favourites I think for, well, any time of year really I suppose, the gold-bodied Willie Gunn. Just a must-have in the box for any time of year really. Loads of different variations of this fly, but I think effectively for springtime tubes of any description. So I'm just tying this on a slipstream copper tube. Obviously you can vary the sizes, but I generally tie, I think this is a 1.5 inch down to 0.5. Which is a really nice fly to have all year round. This is kind of the boring bit, but again, lots of people will do this their own way or do it a different way, and it may be the right way, it may be the wrong way, but this is the way I do it. So I'm just setting a base start for the body down to the bottom. Go about there. Obviously I've put the plastic on. The biggest thing with this fly, whenever you're making this one, is to make sure that this doesn't come off or spin round. So I've trapped it in the back here. You can see with the plastic it's quite solid on there anyway on the pin, but I've just trapped it in there just to really secure it in. There's nothing worse with these than getting it halfway out the body or putting the hair on and the whole bloody thing just spiraling on you. I mean, if it does happen, just whip it through the tie just to hold it, so if it does unravel on you halfway through, it'll stop at the whip. But mine is not going to spin, so famous last words. Hopefully it won't. So anyway, I'm just again going back up the body just to set the body a bit smoother to wrap with the Mylar gold. Now I'm not putting any form of a rib on this. I'm literally simply just wrapping it with gold, which gives it a nice flashy body, because the main wing of this isn't going to be too flashy. It's using the colours that we love, black, orange and yellow. So yeah, this is really tedious, but it's just the way I tie it. And once I have added a smidgen of super glue onto the body here, so yes, I use Gorilla Glue. And I used to be like, oh, super glue's cheating. I don't put a lot on, but I don't see the harm in putting a bit on just to hold the body firm, because there's nothing worse. You got a really nice fly that you like and it's working for you, and the body just comes apart. Actually, for the fish's point of view, it probably makes literally no difference whatsoever, but for us, we don't like it. We don't want to see it. So put a little bit on the body. You could also put it on the thread if you wanted to, while you're tying it up. Whatever floats your boat really. So I'm going to tie in my gold Mylar here, just to over wrap the body. You don't want to put too much glue on the body, because if you put too much on, hopefully got enough here, and the glue starts seeping through your turns here, and then it kind of takes the gold off it, looks messy, So just a little bit, that's why I was scraping it to even it out, just so it's not too, there's not too heavy a set of glue there that comes through, and the hair can stick to it, or it comes through the gaps and goes grey. There's lots of different holders as well for these kind of tubes. When you're tying them, I've got another one, I think it's a Yuma one, which is really good, which I'll show in a sec, but because the hole that you put it through isn't that big, you can fit the tube through it, but you can't fit, you can, or sometimes you can. You can't fit the plastic through it. I'll use it on another video, but anyway, gold body, job done. So I tend to, when I'm making these kind of flies, and lots of people do it lots of different ways. Obviously you've got your 3 different colours here. I tend to take all the bits off that I want, and I lay them down in bits on the desk. So orange, black, and I mix it up, and then I just put them together to form my wing, which has come out like that. So that's my wing. I don't want it to be perfect, like absolutely identical. I don't stack it or anything like that. But that is effectively what I come out with, which is fine for me. So lengthwise, I'm just going to put it so it's a bit past the end of the tube, and I'm just going to place it on there like that, and just carefully wrap round to hopefully get it all the way around, which I haven't managed to do. But you can just manipulate the fibres a bit to kind of get to where you want them to be. There we go, that's better. So that's now covering the whole body, and you don't want to, I think in the past I've been guilty of putting too much on, so you actually don't see the gold. You want the gold to shine through, you don't want to cover it up too much. Anyway, that's my learnings anyway. So again, I'm just going to put a little bit of super glue just on the thread here, just to tighten in maybe 1 or 2 turns. Don't blob it on at this point, or don't blob it on at all, because if you do that, it just forms a solid blob round the head, and actually it doesn't do anything for you at all, and the fibres can still pull out. So at this point I'm just cutting, just loosen that off a bit, just cutting away the fibres there. Just to leave a bit of the head, a bit of the tube. You can see the bit of the gold tube there. So I'm just leaving that out a little bit so we've got something to tie onto. So now I'm going to tie in. Well, the head size, I think with these kind of things, it really doesn't matter if you've got a slightly bigger head on your fly or not. And you know, having small heads is great and all, but I wouldn't worry about it too much. I mean, I like to keep mine as small as possible. That's just the way I make my flies. But sometimes with some flies, you know, you want a big head. Some of them are designed that way. And again, a lot of these kind of things is personal preference. It's what you like, it's what you don't like, it's how you like fishing them, etc, etc. So that's that tied in. There we go, so that's good. So now I'm going to use a little bit of Crystal Flash. This is, what have we got here? Gold Crystal Flash from Andre AM. I'm not going to put too much in. I've basically put 1 in down the side, about the same length as the fibres going out that end, and then I will just fold it back on itself, which I think makes it stronger, so it's harder for the crystal to come out if you fold it back on itself. It's like JC, if you fold it back you tend to not lose it. So I've got one there, I'm going to put one here, and if there's enough I'll fold it back again. They're not always dead flat, there's usually some kinks in them, depends. I'm not really bothered about the kinks. I think an imperfect fly is just as good as a one that looks absolutely perfect. You know, a few kinks or straggling hairs that are slightly longer, you know, not fussed about that for me personally. So just cut that off. So we're back on here, so there we go. So all I'm going to do now is, if I've got tools that I need, finish that off, tie them in there, 3 turns of that. So I mean, this is going to be really solid because you've got just little bits of glue in there, and there we go. So the final piece is a bit of Sally. Nothing wrong with a bit of Sally, like a bit of Sally. So I generally put on these flies probably 2 lots of this, with then a topping of hard as nails, just to keep it really strong. So I just use a pin. This is a tube fly pin from a set I've had for years and years and years. So I just literally use the pin to keep it nice and neat. Oh. Nice and neat on the hook. On the head rather, sorry. So do one of these, let it dry. So probably do the set. I do one while they're ready like this, when they're finished. Do the set, let them all dry, do them all again, and then ready to go. So that is a good all year round fly. Willie Gunn, gold body Willie Gunn, copper tube. Looks amazing in the water.